Hello, hope you're well. It's September. Lots of things happen in the child maintenance world in September. So let's quickly go through some of these things and how they may affect you. So first of all, on the 31st of August, a couple of weeks ago, child benefit for the quarter terminated. So this meant that any child that left education during the summer, their child benefit would have stopped on the 31st of August. The very next day, the Sunday, was the 1st of September. That was the last day that the actual benefit was payable up to. So as of the 2nd of September, cases with the CMS have started to be closed. And what we've seen is we've seen a way of sort of jumping ahead of the game by actually making your own child has left education reports via the portal. And if you look at the previous videos, basically all you do is you go onto the portal, you select the option child has left education and follow through the steps. There's one question where it says yes, no, and don't know. If you select don't know, what that then does is it triggers an automatic check with HMRC as to whether your child's receiving child benefit. And if they are, it will come back, and rather annoyingly, the CMS tell a little porcupine and say that they've spoken to the other parent. Reality is they don't, and we know this because we've had lots of people test this. So lots of people have made child not in education reports over the last couple of weeks. They've made them on late on Saturday evening, late on a Sunday evening, and literally woken up to a response. And clearly the CMS don't work on weekends. So we know that this is an automated process where the child maintenance service say they've spoken to the other parent and they haven't. You might like to complain about that because personally I don't think a government body should be telling parents that they've spoken to the other parent when they haven't. And I fear that actually that's a recipe for conflict. So it shouldn't happen. So if you receive one of those letters which says they've spoken to the other parent, complain about it because it's not true. It's an automated check with child benefit and it comes back, if the child's still in education according to child benefit, then they're saying they've checked with the other parent and they haven't. So if you do that process, one or two things will happen. Either it will come back and say we've checked and they're still in education, or it will say that they're progressing through and the case will be closing very shortly. Now this is where we then get a lot of queries because people are saying now that the cases are being closed, but suddenly the CMS have magicked arrears. Not quite. The CMS, although they've got lots of powers, they're not magicians, they can't do magic tricks. Let's talk about arrears very quickly. Arrears are, by definition, payments that haven't been made. And the thing is, you pay your CMS in arrears anyway. So if you're paying payments for CMS in September, it's probably for the period of July and August. Let me explain further. When the CMS case was first opened, you didn't pay on day one, okay, if you're a paying parent, or if you're a receiving parent, you didn't receive on day one. Reality is most people start their payments 6 weeks, 7 weeks, maybe 2 months after the case is opened. So if you follow that through, if you started your payments 6 to 8 weeks after the case was actually opened, then theoretically at the end of the case, you're going to be paying for 6 to 8 weeks afterwards to catch up for that. So if those arrears that have magically magicked up are more than 2 months worth of payments, I think you've probably got grounds for complaining and trying to get to the bottom of it. If it's less than 2 months payment, it is probably because you are paying in arrears. Now, if you pay weekly, you've probably started paying sooner and therefore your arrears will probably be smaller. If you pay monthly, and let's just say your case was opened on the 1st of January and then you responded to CMS 2 weeks later, it's too late for CMS to set up a payment for the 1st of February. So chances are you started paying on the 1st of March. And this would be the same if you started off, if the case was opened on the 1st of June, you probably didn't start paying until the 1st of August, so roughly 2 months. So let's just put that one to bed, okay? If the arrears are less than 2 months, you probably don't need to phone CMS because it's probably due to the fact that you're paying in arrears. Now, moving forward, some of our kids are off to university. Proud moment for mum and dad. Good moment for the child as they go off and find their feet in the big wide world, often away from the home. Now, CMS isn't payable when a child goes to university. Child benefit isn't payable when a child goes to university. So CMS cases should stop. Reasons for that is because university education is level 4, child benefit and child maintenance are only payable up to level 3 education. So it doesn't matter if the child is living at mum's house while they're at university or dad's house, the CMS case stops because university education is too high a level for those things. And of course, the child is actually an adult, and in most cases, they are living away. And if you think about it, most university courses are something like 35 to 40 weeks. So for most of the year, they wouldn't actually be living with either parent. So it does actually make sense. But as I say, even if they are living with the resident parent, the case still stops. And it should have stopped on the 31st of August. That's when it should have stopped. So if you're still paying now and your child is off to university in the next couple of weeks, something's gone wrong there, okay? Probably the ex is still claiming the child benefit, or maybe the case hasn't been closed yet, but it's in the pipeline to be closed. But as I say, you can jump ahead by going onto the portal and reporting the child has left education. Child left education is referring to education level 3 and below. I appreciate university is education, but it's not for child benefit or child maintenance purposes. So I hope that's clear. Now, also moving on. Now, I'm already seeing on social media tales along the lines of, my child has gone back to college for a 3rd year and already they've left, or my child has gone to college and been told by the resident parent they just have to be there for a week to see if they like it. Clearly what's happening there is the child has been encouraged to go back to education, and because they're in education, child maintenance is payable. Well, good news kind of. This doesn't mean to say that if you're a paying parent you have to pay for the next year. The next significant date for you is the 30th of November, where actually your payments may stop at that point. So if a child has gone back to college or gone to college for the first time, but they leave before the 30th of November, then on the 30th of November, that's the next quarterly terminal date. And at that point, the child benefit will stop and therefore CMS won't be payable. So that's just something to bear in mind. If they've gone back to college, have a quick check in 6 to 8 weeks time. If they haven't stayed there and they've moved on, then child benefit can stop. And as normal, if you know your child is not in education and the receiving parent is still claiming they are, go to HMRC and make a child benefit fraud report. Don't go to the benefits line, okay? People get confused. Child benefit is not a benefit paid for by the DWP who run the benefits fraud line. Child benefit is actually paid by HMRC, so you need to go to the HMRC fraud line to report it. And what we know is when you go to HMRC, they're quite hot on this sort of stuff. They will normally contact the receiving parent and ask them a few questions and invite them to submit evidence that the child's in education. So, you know, that's what you have to do. That's the only way you can stop it, because even though you may be the paying parent, for child benefit purposes, you're not recognised. Only the person receiving the benefit is recognised as the legitimate person. So the only way around that is for you to make a fraud claim. And guess what? The HMRC probably get thousands of these claims, particularly in August and September. It's normal. They are used to dealing with this, and as far as I'm aware, what they do is they just go back and check with the receiving parent and ask them to prove they're in education. And I'm sure in a lot of cases the receiving parent says, oops, no, sorry, I did fill in the form to say I wanted to continue, but my child has changed. So thank you very much for ringing me, but I can confirm my child's not in education. And then of course what happens is it gets stopped, and that's the end of it. So I hope that's been of use to you. So basically, in a nutshell, if the child has gone back to college and they don't stick at it, you don't have to pay for another year. Potentially there is an end date on the 30th of November. The child benefit would be paid till the Sunday after the 30th of November, and then once you reach that day, the child maintenance should finish on the Monday thereafter. And that's that. That's quite straightforward. So I think we've covered a few things. We've covered arrears. We've explained why you may still have arrears to pay. As I say, in most cases, it's down to the fact that you started paying late. Now, the thing to bear in mind is those arrears will often be spread up to your annual review period. So if your annual review is October, they're going to run a new calculation, and then suddenly you're going to have to pay all your arrears at once. Okay, or at least that's what the letter will say. If that's the case, go back to CMS and say, look, I can't pay all this money at once. Can I spread this over a time period? CMS will normally allow you to spread it over 2 months. Most people, they'll get to the end of it, there'll be a small amount of arrears, maybe 2 months worth of arrears, and then they will issue a new calculation. The CMS will issue a new calculation, and those arrears will get paid in instalments up to the annual review. Now, please don't buck the system, all right? We see this every year. So what happens is maybe you owe, let's just say, £300, okay? Maybe that's a month's maintenance and you started paying a month in arrears, so you owe £300, and then the CMS split it into 6 payments of £50. Don't be tempted to break that. Normal rules apply. If the CMS tell you to pay on a particular date, pay on that particular date. Every October, November, I go onto Facebook and someone reports that they paid the outstanding sum as a lump sum. They didn't think anything more of it, and now their ex has claimed that they haven't paid the monthly instalment. So don't fall for that trap. Just pay as per the plan. If you want to pay it sooner, ring up the CMS and ask them for a new calculation that pays off that money sooner, and then stick to that calculation. All right? And it doesn't matter how silly the figure may be. If CMS say you owe 100 quid and they want £20 per month and you think that's a pain, just go with it. It's interest free, it doesn't cost you more. Okay? If the case isn't suddenly going to resurrect itself unless the child goes back to education. So if they say pay £20, if they say pay £10 a week for the next 40 weeks, just go with it. Don't be tempted to pay that lump sum and get caught out when the other parent says, I've not been paid. Now, the other thing is, talking about that, interesting, I've actually seen letters on Facebook where people have posted where the CMS are now, in cases, actually checking with the receiving parent that the story is correct. So we've got receiving parents now that have reported not being paid. The other person is proving that they have paid, and the receiving parents are being asked to prove that they haven't paid. Now, I don't know what they're going to do about that, but I suspect what will happen is this will eliminate those cases where we see every so often, you go onto Facebook and someone says, my ex reports me every month for not paying. Well, now, if the ex has to prove by sending their bank statement in, hopefully this may actually get rid of this sort of silly behaviour. And remember, this isn't silly behaviour, this is actually fraud. If you are a receiving parent and you receive a child maintenance payment and then you go to the CMS and say, I haven't received one, you are actually committing fraud under Section 2 of the Fraud Act 2006, okay? Because you are falsely representing that you have not been paid when you have. Now, the interesting thing about that offence is you don't actually have to receive the money to be convicted of fraud, okay? Because the attempt of asking for it is enough to get a conviction for fraud. So look, please don't do this, all right? Is it worth reporting your ex for not paying when they actually have? I can understand if they pay you on the same day it's reported, or you check your bank statement, your money's not in, you go to report it, and in the minutes between that, someone does pay it. But if they paid you yesterday, don't go onto the system today and complain that you haven't been paid, because actually you are setting yourself up for a fraud conviction, and you're also setting yourself up for the fact that they could go to the police and report that they're being financially abused, and therefore you could be acting contrary to the Domestic Abuse Act 2021. So don't do it, okay? And there you go. Just a reminder, if you are a receiving parent, then obviously you can report non-payment as long as it's legitimate, and the CMS allows you to do that after 3 days. Now, I would just caution, okay, if your ex-partner doesn't pay you and tells you they're going to pay you 2 or 3 days late, it's probably not a good idea to report it, because what you don't realise is when you report a missed payment, you're actually asking for collect and pay. And the trouble is, with collect and pay, what happens is they make an application to the parent's employer and get the parent's employer to send the child maintenance to the child maintenance service, and the child maintenance service send it to you. And that isn't quick. And what we do know is potentially, and I've highlighted this in another video, this can take up to 3 months. So if you are reporting a late payment, bear in mind it could result in you not receiving any payments at all for up to 3 months. Now you will get that money eventually, but what I'm just saying to this, it's not a good idea if your ex is for a one-off not paying you on time. Obviously, if they are consistently not paying you, that's a totally different ball game, and the CMS will put people on collect and pay if they regularly miss payments, if they regularly underpay and overpay and don't stick to the payment schedule. They will stick them on collect and pay. All right, but as I say, for the receiving parents, don't cut off your child maintenance payments by reporting something when you've already spoken to the parent and they've said to you and they've agreed with you and they've promised you that they're going to pay in a couple of days. All right, because I just think it's classic sort of cut your nose off to spite your face, and that's probably not very good. But if they are consistently not paying, then obviously you've got a right to report that. So who am I to say otherwise? I think that's probably a good summary of where we are for September. This happens every September, so I suspect next September I'll be republishing this video. But essentially, beginning of the month, it's all about the child finishing education. As the month goes on, a lot of the comments are about, do I pay child maintenance when the child goes to university? No, you don't. And just a little thing on that one, actually. Sometimes university courses take place in college. It doesn't matter the geographical location. What does matter is the level of education. So if they're doing a university course at the local college, it's still non-qualifying education for the purposes of child maintenance. So if you're not already a subscriber, and something like 90% of people who watch my videos don't subscribe, please subscribe, hit that like button, press subscribe and hit that bell. And if you hit that bell, what should happen is when I release new videos, it should flash up on YouTube and you'll get to know about the videos as they're published. And if you've got any comments on what I've said, please say so below. I do reply to most comments. I try to do it the same day if I can, but obviously I'm quite a busy person. And if you're not already part of my Facebook group, look in the description for this video and you'll see there the Facebook group address. And if you click onto that, you can join the Facebook group, and that's where we share quite a lot of information about child maintenance matters. The group's growing quite strongly. We're around about 8,000 members at the moment, which is good, which puts us probably maybe the second largest child maintenance group on Facebook. So I'm quite pleased with that. Brilliant. So thank you very much. And quite a long video, but lots in there. Have a great day. Cheers. Bye-bye.